What if power is not about being the loudest person in the room? What if real power is knowing what makes people look, follow, react, and reveal themselves? Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power is controversial because it studies human nature without pretending people are always fair. Some read it as a weapon, but the smarter way to read it is as a shield. Because once you understand power, it becomes harder for people to use it against you. Here are laws 6 through 10. Law 6, court attention at all costs. P.T. Barnum understood something long before social media existed: attention is currency. He was not the strongest man in America. He was not the richest at first. But he knew how to make people look. Barnum created mystery, spectacle, and controversy. People talked about him. Newspapers wrote about him. Crowds came to see what he was doing, even when they did not fully believe it. And that was the point. He understood that being ignored can be worse than being criticized. Today, creators, brands, celebrities, politicians, and businesses fight for the same thing: attention. Because before people can trust you, follow you, or buy from you, they must notice you. But attention without substance becomes noise. The lesson is not to act crazy just to be seen. The lesson is to become memorable. Have a clear image. Tell better stories. Create a presence people recognize. In a crowded world, disappearing is easy. Power often starts with being impossible to ignore. Law 7, get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Nikola Tesla was one of the most brilliant inventors of his time. His ideas helped shape the modern electrical world. But Tesla was not always good at turning genius into power. He had vision and imagination, but others were better at business, branding, and control. Thomas Edison understood something Tesla often underestimated: in the real world, invention alone is not enough. The person who controls the story often gets remembered more than the person who quietly creates. This law can sound cold, but as a shield, it teaches you something important. Do not let people quietly take your work, your ideas, or your effort and turn it into their reputation. If you create value, make your contribution visible. Because history does not always remember the person who worked the hardest. It remembers the person whose name was attached to the result. Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Napoleon Bonaparte won many battles not only because he had strong armies, but because he understood position. He wanted enemies to react to him. He wanted them to move into conditions he had already studied. A great strategist does not always chase. Sometimes, he waits. He creates pressure. He creates temptation. He makes the opponent move first. And when they move first, they reveal their weakness. This law is about control. When you chase people too desperately, you give them power. When you beg for attention, approval, love, or opportunity, you show need. And need can be used against you. But when you create value, mystery, leverage, or scarcity, people begin moving toward you. Do not always run after the room. Build something that makes the room come closer. The person who chooses the battlefield often controls the outcome. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Powerful people understand that arguments rarely change minds. Why? Because when you argue, people defend their pride. Even when they are wrong, they do not want to feel defeated. Words can trigger ego, but results are harder to deny. There is an old story about an architect who was criticized for the design of a building. Instead of arguing endlessly, he made the structure stand. He let the results speak. And once people saw that it worked, the criticism lost its power. That is the heart of Law 9. Do not waste energy trying to convince everyone with words. Show them, build the thing, win the result, master the skill, keep the promise. People can argue with your opinion, but they have a harder time arguing with proof. Action creates a silence that words cannot. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Not every danger looks like an enemy. Sometimes danger looks like a friend who always complains. A partner who always creates chaos. A coworker who turns every solution into a problem. A person who carries drama everywhere and somehow makes it your responsibility. Greene's 10th law is harsh, but it points to something real. Emotions spread. Fear spreads. Negativity spreads. Victimhood spreads. If you spend enough time around people who are bitter, jealous, careless, or destructive, their worldview can slowly become yours. This does not mean you abandon people who are struggling. It means you learn the difference between someone who needs support and someone who feeds on chaos. There are people who want help. And there are people who want an audience for their misery. One can grow, the other can pull you down with them. So protect your environment. Be compassionate, but not careless. Help when you can, but do not confuse loyalty with self-destruction. So what the laws 6 through 10 really teach? Be visible, but not empty. Protect the credit for your work. Stop chasing people who should be coming toward you. Let your actions prove what your words cannot. And guard your energy from people who live in chaos. Power is not only about controlling others. Real power starts with controlling your attention, your position, your proof, and your circle. The purpose is not to become cruel. The purpose is to become aware. Because the world is full of games, even when no one admits they are playing. And the more clearly you understand power, the harder it becomes for anyone to use it against you.